will now entail calculations, no? So our P2 is somewhat it's like two parts. So mahog siya P2 niya arbek na pod. Ang akong buhaton is ang atong P2 na ito ka setups because one is the computational, the second one is the conceptual. So the conceptual na aspect entails understanding, no, of the lessons, while the computational is knowing how to compute. Aron mabalance nato. Okay? So I have worked out the schedule na ana last 2 days of our the last 2 days of our class. So we're gonna end at 25. So 24-25 we will be having the P2 and RPEC, no? One schedule for the computational, which is on the Monday, and another schedule, the final day, will be on the computational, the multiple choice part. Okay? So, tanang computations, akong ibutang sa kanina exam, all the multiple choice is ari sa 25. Okay? Para aware na mo daan. Klaro to? And lastly, reminder, July 17 is our schedule for at least face-to-face class. No? So face-to-face class pa ani. Okay? Kanilang na date. Okay? Wala yung conflict. Okay? Klaro ang schedules, guys? Hello? Kera? Hello? Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir. Klaro na, sir.
Sige ha, so muna to. Alright, so let's begin so that we can end pod. So, my target for today is at least to give you an idea, no, of what we will be tackling. So this is now our lesson, and that is hypothesis testing. Okay, can you repeat what I said? So in statistics, yes, can you repeat what I said?
Hypothesis testing.
Okay, so in your prior na mga subjects, I believe when you say, you have an idea, no, kung sa'y pasabot na ng hypothesis. No? So you know what a hypothesis is, basically. Right? Wait lang. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to work out my pen. Okay. Alright. Right. Did you book a right? Pen. So, okay. Transfer sa whole board. Okay. Ay, nakapos killing. Okay, sorry. Okay. So, natin ko scaling. Okay. So, hypothesis testing, alright. So, basically, this is now the core, no, of the subject, because every statistics student should be familiar with what we call hypothesis testing. So, hypothesis testing, okay, let's try to read the short description, okay? What are we trying to do when we do hypothesis testing? What's that?
Used to make inference about the population based on.
Alright, so there are very important terms there. The first one is What's the first one?
Inferences.
Inferences. So what do you call it? What's an inference? Can somebody give me what they understand about inference? Inference, guys.
Conclusion, sir.
Conclusion or getting what?
Information.
No. So inference or it gives you an idea or pwede po siguro conclusion about kinsa man whom are you getting an inference from where is it gani evidence or reasoning, sir. Okay, and where do you get that?
The participant, sir.
Okay, based on a sample data. So meaning you are trying to get a conclusion from data coming from a certain source, may it be a population or a sample data. Now, when you say sa population, do not confuse na humans ra niya. Pwede po ni sa man. Kana mga experiments, asa man kakuha data ana. Pwede humans, pwede po asa man. Kahapa. Except from humans. They're very common. Gamiton for trials. What organism, sa itong gamiton usually? But from animals.
Plant.
Yeah. Obvious man. Wala? I mean, asa mo mag-usually kuha data? I mean, aside from humans, pwede? Starts with A. Paano ba yan N? Animals. Or pwede po other organisms like microbes, no? Kana, microbes. Pwede po mga si tawag ini mga si term na to anang mga pwede po objects, no? Kamo as dentistry students usually pwede po maka-research of objects like alternative tools for extraction, alternative blah blah blah, no? Pwede na siya. So those are what we call data, sample data. So you're getting conclusion from a data. That's hypothesis testing. Okay? So that's the very simple explanation. Now, in hypothesis testing, muna itong target for today. So define, explain what are the steps, and what are some examples that you can do. So again, it's a very important guide, especially in Tanawa. Guide for what? Can you check?
Decision making.
Yes. So sir, pwede ka pwede make of decision sa descriptive statistics? Pwede, pero dili kaayo sure imong evidence. So dapat, if gusto jud kag mag-make of decision based on hypothesis, gamit jud ka og hypothesis testing in statistics, which I will ready right now. So, okay, whether the observed data is consistent to the hypothesis. So, more bit of, does the data support the hypothesis or does not support the hypothesis? So, my examples, testing if a new drug is effective or a certain campaign is successful or not. Sige lang, more about this later. So, again, take note, data, does data support or does not support the hypothesis? That's the gist of hypothesis. Your clue is simple na kayo. Once I get test, what are we testing here? Our
hypothesis.
Hypothesis. And in your prior na mga lessons, so di ba, hypothesis is like temporary answer to a problem. So currently in statistics, same, but there are two kinds. No? So what are the two kinds of hypothesis? The first one is
Null and
Null
alternative.
and alternative.
other one, alternative. And they have symbols, okay? Tanawa. What's the symbol for null?
H0.
H0 or kitang sa HO. Alternative, HA. Alright. So, unsay pasabot ani nila? So now, I want you to look at unsay pasabot ato sa null. Sa tong murag. Can you give me another word for null? Sa ting null. Null. Say null. Null and void? What do you mean? What is meant by null?
No value.
No value or nothing. Wala. No? So sa atong dialect or sa atong language, null is wala. So, kasi pasabot sa wala. So, walay. Okay. So, you will learn about difference or relationship in the next lesson. No? So, you say null, no. So, usually, hypothesis asks whether naa or wala. Kasi pasabot wala. Walay difference o si Bisaya sa difference. Kalahian. Kasi Bisaya sa relationship. Uyab, char. Dili, no? So, relationship can be connection or correlation, which you will learn more in the next lessons. Okay? So, akatong hypothesis di ay, it's either null or alternative. So, ang alternative, otherwise, so bali. So, kung ang null, wala, unsa man si alternative, naa. So, naay kalahian or naay connection. You'll learn more about that in the next lesson. So, in the hypothesis, no? So, depende sa ato ang gustong i-hypothesize. No? So, usually, kaning hypothesis testing is ari din siya sa mga correlational or comparison. So, example can be is kung naa kay gustong i-test ng mga drugs. So, usually, mingkag null, there is no difference in the drugs, in the effectiveness of the two drugs. While the null, one drug is more effective than the other. So, muna ang alternative. So, usually, sir, unsa may gamiton gyud namo? How do we choose? Depende sa study. So, when you want, if you are testing whether, for example, nakay tool for tooth extraction, nakagimik na tool, and you made it in such a way na pupariha ra gyud siya or better than your standard. Assuming lang. May nga kaya amor, pupariha ni siya, but nakalahi lang niya ko kay mas barato. So, kung mo na ang nature sa study, pwede dyan ka mag-null. Meaning, my tool or my new device is as good as the expensive device. Okay? So, pwede ka mag-null hypothesis. But, now, first, you want to find an alternative. You want to find something better from what is currently available. So, kung inana gani ang nature sa imong study, mas preferred si alternative. Kaya may mga naani mas kakaning mas maayo ni kaysa sa standard or kaysa sa something. Okay? So it's entirely dependent on what kind of research or what type of experiment is being conducted in choosing what type of hypothesis you will use. It's depending whether null or alternative. Okay? Did you get that? Unsay murag preferred depending sa research? Sige, balik ko na to ha. Unsa ganitong null, when is it more appropriate to use the null? Kung
Kung walay difference.
no, kung ang imong gihimo or something na murag imong gusto mo i-check, pupariha rin sila kay kani this is as effective as what is available. Now, unsa gitong gamiton kung mag-alternative? In what situation ganito? Naay
Side difference.
or naay
Comparison.
Yes, na kay murag gi-assume na mas naka-gi-assume na mas
Better.
effective. So, pwede po na sa manguyab ni mo, no? So, better ni siya sa ako ang usual options chart. Pwede po may gamit ang statistics na sa part. No? Sige, anyway. So, example, drug efficacy. So, a new drug, hypothesis, the new drug no, has no effect on reducing alcohol. So, that's what you feel is correct. Alternatively, pwede po the new drug is effective. So, depende po na sa imuhang assumption. Depende sa kung gusto nimo mahitabo sa research. As an example. Now, significance level. So, when you do hypothesis testing DI, naapod kay gitawag na significance level. So, we call this significance level the, what's the term? Can you read? Can you see that?
Alpha.
So in alpha guys, usually ang duha jud ka common no are the 0.05 or the 0.01. So if alpha is 0.05, pasabot ana ay mong confidence is 95%. So depende na sa unsa ka confident sa imong result, no? Asa imong conservative level, no? So kabantay mo sa confidence sa 95%, pilay kuwang para ma 100.
5%.
And how do you express 5% in decimal?
0.05.
That explains the alpha. Sige, so kung mag 0.01 ko, pila akong confidence?
99, sir.
99. So for money standard, yes, money common. So, I want you to remember na kaning alpha guys, kaning level of significance, ang researcher gay magbuot. No? Yeah, sir, wasa na murag common advice. Usually, if you are doing clinical data or clinical experiments or kana bitang something implied to health, mas maayo jud na asa ka ha, 0.05 or 0.01. Something na ipagamit sa mga tao. Can you guess asay mas maayo or asay prefer? 0.05 or 0.01? Tanawang
0.01.
Ano man? Of the
Confidence.
Kung 0.1 ka, how much is your person confidence?
99%.
Yeah, and we want to be 99% sure, or we want to be 99% sure that it did not occur by chance. Can you read that? You are 99% that it
It did not occur by chance.
wala na kasaman. Kung Bisaya pa, wala lang na timingan. Oo.
Naswertian.
Naswertian. Meaning, naagyod siya saman. Kung mo siya nasurtian, naagyoy?
Chance.
Kung na chance, but nahitabo siya not by chance, but because of unsaman.
Significance.
Or because naagyod siya unsaman.
Confidence.
Yes. So let's say for drugs, no, nakibagong drug. So meaning, mas nindot ni na drug kaysa sa usa. So dili na siya. So if 99% imong confidence, it means that the effect of the drug happened not because of not because of
Chance.
but because of the
Confidence.
not confidence, but because of the effect of the effects on sa itong test gani
Significance.
significance, pero going back to the drug, meaning ang effect di ay is naadjud sa drug itself. Did you follow? Meaning, nag-effect si drug, dili kay na timingan nasuntian lang. I-follow. Hello? Importante na siya sa ton, ha? Klaro na siya, guys? Okay. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Ang ano nga ito? It did not occur by chance, but because of the effect of the drug, or because of the innate ability of the drug. Did you follow? Did you get that? Diba?
Yes, Doc.
Alright, thank you. Okay, so na po example, no, survey results, no? Na-satisfied the number of dissatisfied. So, sa matutanawan, are they really satisfied or are they dissatisfied? Nasa tayo test na. So, kani the hypothesis testing, guys, depende sa imong pangutana, depende sa gusto nimo maibaw-an, na ay lain-lain na tests. Daghang test, and I will introduce to some of the very common para lang at least na amoy working knowledge lang yun, no, na has when to use, and that's we will spend the majority of our meetings around that topic. When to use and how to compute. O gyud na ron ang atoang more goal, no, na di mo maihas sa unsang klase ng mga statistical tools ang inyong gamito. Okay, according to the department, when I went there, diba, nakita ta pa last Friday for your P1. Diba, we are the top performing school for the recent board exam for dentists. And I was one of the I was invited to review the batch that was taking the exam. And according to them, ang inyong dental public health, daghan kaayo og statistics na lesson, biostat na lesson. And nings lang na, sir, I think usa to sa factor nga nindot atong performance sa mga graduates. So one of the key lessons or key things that you have to learn is unsay angay gamiton for the different hypothesis testing, which muna, no? So ato yun na katunon. Kana lang mga basic na for sure na manggawa, for sure na common yun na mugawas, no? So kana see. So this is what I'm talking about. When you ito akong i-check the step here. So where is steps? Karita, no? So depending sa imuhang research or sa imong experiment, diya ka mo base sa hypothesis. Determine ka sa significance level. Collect kag data. Diri ang sakit sa ulo, no? Diri ang murag main agenda na to. How do you analyze in line with your How will you analyze in line with your ano mo base?
Hypothesis.
Muna ang atong meat. Then how do you make conclusions based on the results? Etc. Okay? So, these statistics, depende sa analysis tools na gamiton, you will always compute that statistic. So, more of this, inig-ato na dyan na to sa specific tools. But mo ginay pirmi na to. Kada tool na inyohang ma-encounter, lain-lain ang way sa pag-compute sa test statistic. Okay? Lain-lain. Okay, lain-lain man po og concept, lain po og thought ang kada analysis. So an example of this tools is what we call the t-test. So we will do more with t-test in the next lesson. Now, p-value is basically the usual bitang pagatan-awon sa any result sa usa ka hypothesis testing. So P stands for, can you see that? Can you you see what is meant by the P value?
Probability.
Probability, di ba? Unsa ganito? Yes na. So if ang atong alpha, no? Sa to duha ka alpha, the values na to gani? Point
0.05 and
105.
0.01. Now, si P value is this is now actually the common P value reference. So, depende sa analysis, depende sa result na mugawas sa P value computation. Inyo din ang tanawon sa kung asa siya ni sulod, asa siya ni fall. So, let's say for example, na ako'y P na 0.12. Ako'y P value na 0.03. At na ako'y P value na 0.001. Okay. So I have how many P values? 3. So usually guys, if ang P value starts to be lesser than 0.05, no? Lesser na ganun siya 0.05, you can now decide or you can now say na it's statistically significant. Kung usagod na siya naugas. So kung na kay p-value na 0.12, unsa man na? 0.0 sana? Significant or not significant? So unsa ka ha? Strong evidence against the null hypothesis. So against. So asa man ka mo base sa p-value? So again, kung mas greater ganig 0.05, no difference. Okay? Ito, kung mo higher than 0.05, no
No significant.
or repeat not significant. Difference ba or correlation, wala, no? So wala difference siya, wala connection, wala correlation. So if a p-value ana di ay tanawa against tanawa. So kung higher, okay, by the way, kung ingon ka og null hypothesis na H o to na. So if it is fail to reject is lesser than 0.05, we reject. Okay? So, kung sa metabo sa null hypothesis, kung greater than 0.05, we saman fail to, what's the word? Fail to? Hello? Okay, everybody here? Basta to kung greater than 0.05, fail to? Hello? Reject, sir. Fail to reject. Okay, ano fail to reject man? O sa gingon gani ni null hypothesis? No significance. So, higher p-values unsa man supports the null. Okay? Do you follow? But kung munawag na siya sa 0.05, what do we do? We reject the null hypothesis. Okay, mura bitaw, ingon si null na wala. Pero pag compute nimo sa data, naa. So, kung sinitabo ni null hypothesis, gi-reject or wala gi-reject? Basta lesser than 0.05.
I-reject.
I-reject. Iningan man siya wala, pero nakaman. Sige na, don't worry, no? For every lesson na tungkol sa mga analysis considerations, mas masabdan yun, no? Okay. Decision rule. So, moto atong giingon. So, sa ito yung mga rules, sa ito yung mga decisions na ito ganun sa hypothesis, it's either we
Reject or
or sa ito, sa ikaduha,
Fail.
okay. Ito magamit sa word na naman. Kung yun, kasi opposite sa reject. Support or sa pailain, sa common. I-approve or i-accept, no? Okay. Anong di mo ito magamit, Ana? Sige. Anong di mo ito magamit, Ana, na jargon or na word na the term, accept? Ano man? Okay. Paminaw. Sa imong data collection, Manggod, yan, ang nigawas reject the null hypothesis. It means that, for example, balik-balik, nag-collect na data. Ang nigawas kay p-value greater than 0.05. So, sakto, no difference. Okay, lapas na greater than 0.05 man siya. When you say accept, it means that when you say accept, kanang imong gidawat nimo, imo siyang i-consider as truth. But in statistics and in science, mga good guys, there's no such thing as absolute truth. Kaya ngano, ang data na nag-collect nimo may not be the entire truth. Do you get me? Okay, you're not, it's just that the data is not enough. Do you follow? Pero ito, gingon si data na wala. So, di ka ingon na Jud. You are, saman, you are dependent on the
Hypothesis.
asa man itong i-compute asa man ang source atong computation. We're computing data. O say source sa data. Things, di ba? Or so many things. So, meaning, kung may accept, you're accepting that it's the truth, but it's not. It's like saying, as far as my data is concerned, you follow? I was not able to reject the saman. I was not able to reject the
hypothesis.
what kind of hypothesis?
Null hypothesis.
Okay. So mas sakto na term ang pag-ingon na instead of saying accept, what do we say?
Fail to
Reject. The data that I collected it might not be enough to reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, you failed to reject the null. Naka-understand ta ani kay narabay uban jud no bisag mga maestro bitaw ilang gamiton kay accept, which is wrong. Hindi na siya makuha cute. Kasabot ta? Yes, sir. Ako dyan na siyang i-append dyan sa exam. Ang pag-understand na to on what we mean by reject and fail to reject. So, mato siya ha. Meaning, the data is not enough. But kung the data shows na ni-reject, itong gi-reject si hypothesis. Itong gi-reject siya. Okay, the data shows otherwise. Diba? Okay? Alright. Okay, no? So testing, no? A and B, so alternative testing. Okay? So now, I want you to be, wala na ako napuntahan. I want to show you this. Pinagitawag nila type 1 and type 2 errors. I will show you this lang. Type 2 errors. I have a very nice meme for this, Manggod Sayang. Meme. I would like to show you the meme. Kadali lang. Okay, copy image. Ako may butang sa PowerPoint, guys, para mas appreciate ninyo. Okay, this got me, usan is mga interesting mga kasalesons of the stat. Sige. So there's gitawag na tong type 1 error and type 2 errors when doing hypothesis testing. So can you distinguish what do we call the type 1 error? Sorry. Kasi tanan to sa type 1 error.
False positive.
False
Positive.
Positive.
murag kasi kagets mo sa false positive tanawa. The diagnosis says, what's it on?
Pregnant.
Pregnant. Pero lucky day siya.
Parang, okay, ni positive, pero di ay. Sa man,
So, dili pwede kay
dili possible or sayop na pagka-positive. Di follow? Sa Bisaya na to, ano yung gani? Sayop na? Hello? Sa tawag na to ni? Sayop na pagka? Dalawa. What's the term there?
positive.
Okay. Sayop ang pagka? Hello? Sayop ang iyang pagka? Tanawang word. What's the word?
Sir.
Okay. Sa to, balik ka. Sayop ang pagka?
Positive. Positive.
Kening type 2, sayop na pagka?
Negative.
Kasabot.
Yes, sir.
No? So, di ba? Kung di siya pregnant, unsa ka ni? Bloated, saka. So in statistics, it can happen, no? So, mo nang importante gyud ang sample size. Kay to prevent the chances of type 1 and type 2 errors, no? So sa gingon, type 2 errors occurs when the null hypothesis is not rejected, but it's actually false. So para siya fail to reject the null, pero sayop di ay, no? Siya. So murag ingon na null hypothesis is rejected, pero tinuod di ay. Tinuod di si null inana, no? So basta parent to mahitang na sayop na pagka-positive, type 2 error, sayop na pagka-negative. Siya. So, null hypothesis. So, for example, a patient does not have the disease. Alternative hypothesis, patient has the disease. Type 1 error, incorrectly diagnosing a healthy patient as having the disease. So, muna itong gikon ganiha, no? So ang meat of our lesson is arigita. So, these are the different testings, no? The different tests, to test hypothesis. So, 1 sample, t-test, 2 sample, ANOVA. Sige lang, ilan lang kayo na ako niya siya i-dual match because ato gid ni siya tagsaon. Do you follow? Kani, no? Ato yung tagsaon. Separate meeting, another meeting, kanina yan. Okay? So, these are the different tests which we will call, no, in statistics as inferential stats. Okay. Di ata magdaog, no? So, diri na gyud mo na makaingon na your calculator is your best friend. And so dapat katunon ninyo ang mano-mano, no? At least kasabot mo sa concept karon, but actually karon na yung mga dali na ng mga tools, but lahi ra jud na naa jud may foundational knowledge na computation. Daghan siya, guys, no? Daghan siya tests, pero di lang nato i-apply tanan, ari lang gyud nato ni isulod sa unsod yung mga pinaka-common na manggawas. Okay? So manang mas maayo na ini ka 7 maka-meet kita para at least ato mga lisod atog yung siya mo atog yung face to face, no? So mo na siya. Unahan na to mga sayon, iulahin na tong mga lisod. Kinana lang, no? So alright. So this is not the meat of our subject. No? Dili na gyud ang madugo na subject natin. So, for every kuan dapat makabaw mo sa computation, I will allow you to see the formula kay aron gusto sad ko na makabalo mo unsaon pag-interpret ang formula. So, dili ra ninyo i-need i-memorize ang formula, kaya importante makabaw mo unsaon pagpadagan ang formula. Okay, pwede ra mo na i-copy sa formula in exam, but definitely inyo yung imano-mano, no? Ang pag-solve from step 1 down to the last. Okay? Klaro ta?
Yes, sir.
So may na lang, no? Ay salamat, makata na may formula. Sige, ako lang i-allow. Kaya ako mong kung statistics mong good, pwede ra gid mo na i-formula as long as kasabot mo sa process. No? Part of the murag si term na to. Competency is to understand how to manipulate the formula, how to analyze data based on the formula. Is that clear? Klaro ta?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Alright. And that's all. Okay. So 6:23. Okay. Okay, so muna na ang meat sa ato ang lesson, no? So first, ang sunod natong i-lesson next meeting is when do you choose or how to choose the appropriate hypothesis testing tools or the different statistical tools depending sa imuhang problem or sa imuhang question or depende sa imong need, no, and how to state the hypothesis. Okay? Una ito ang sunod, and that is what we for me no consider the meat of not really the meat but the foundation. Okay, in the exam ra ba sa computational tagaan ra to mag data pero di ko musulti on sa inyong gamiton. Okay, part sa exam is you have to know unsa man
To analyze.
oo based on the data unsay angay
Use.
gamiton. Okay. And kung kabalo ka unsaon ang pag-use, kabalo na ka unsaon pag?
Compute.
Alright. Do you get the drill? No? So, importante na siya. Kung ka na siya, crucial ka na siya ng knowledge. Okay? Okay. What's the point of knowing how to compute but you don't know when to use? Pura kag sa man ka. Dapatumar o kanang biogesics sa naay infection. Ang biogesic dili man pang infection. So, diba? Correct sa to? Correct, diba? You have to correctly diagnose so that you can correctly apply ang si angay na solution. So in this case, apply the proper tools based on the data given. Okay. Questions. So manat ni. So sagot na kita. Managit ni ang meat of our lesson. Sige. Yes, there's a question.
Sir,
Yes, go.
good evening, sir. Nangain ako sa sir, classmate ako. Clarify lang, sir.
Sure.
About the P2 and RBE. Ang P2, sir, is sir, no, next Friday. And then, ang RBE, which is next week, which is Monday, 24.
Okay, sige. Hello? Sige. Ano lang, naman ito style, ha? Ang 24, ano ang computational? Copy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, akong plano is, ako personally, mura na siya P2 exam for me, but sige na lang, aron na lang po, semantics, ang kanang computational, mo na yung P2. Klaro?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which is, akong schedule of 24. Klaro?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, ang multiple choice exam is gonna follow the next day, which is 25. And mo lang na akong gamiton for unsa man
RBE.
Okay, gets.
Ay, sir.
Yes.
Nako yung suggestion, sir. Di ba ang exam is 1 hour lang yun siya, sir?
Actually, ang computational ako ay 2 hours.
Okay, sir. Ang akong suggest, sir, kay if 1 hour lang ang computation,
Di gini magsilbi. Yes, I've tried and kapila na ako nakasalay, di gini magsilbi, no? So don't worry, there will only be one problem for each statistical tool. Okay, klaro?
yes, sir. Thank you.
So usa na ka problem, pero di ko masulti unsa na klase na tool inyong gamit. Unsa na tool na siya. Kamo na mag-decide. You understand? Data ra gyud akong ihatag niya situation. Kamo ni bahala pagpili sa mga tools available. You understand? Hello? Okay ra.
Okay, sir. Sagot.
Alright. Sige. So ang 25 which is the RBE multiple choice exam, 1 hour na lang gid ni siya.
Pila ka choices items, sir?
50 items na.
Okay, sir.
Ilang coverage ana sir sa RBE?
Kanina to ang inferential statistic. Dili na ito ma-appeal sa P1.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Ano na? Okay. Alright. So I'll see you again tomorrow for the identification of appropriate statistical tools. So, na siya no? Yeah. Next meeting na po Thursday is kinahinay na ta sa tuan. Itong mga specific tools na gyud.